Well, speaking of not being allowed to tell the truth, in May, a Nebraska bar owner called Jake Gardner was attacked during BLM riots in the state of Nebraska, in Omaha. One rioter went after his family in several storefronts before grabbing Gardner's neck, jumping on his back, putting him in a headlock. Gardner tried to shake him off. "Get off me," he said. The man wouldn't. He choked Gardner, then Gardner shot and killed him. Prosecutors originally described this as self-defense because it was, and they declined to press charges. But then mobs descended on the home of the Douglas County attorney, Don Klein. A left-wing mob doxed and harassed both Klein and Gardner online. Finally, Klein relented, and he charged Gardner. So Gardner tried to raise money for his own defense. He went online to GoFundMe, the biggest fundraising site. But GoFundMe deleted those pages that would have raised money for Gardner. So Gardner was out of options. And on Sunday, as clearly was the intent of the mob, he killed himself. Our next guest spoke with a close friend of Gardner's who talked to him this past weekend. Mia Kuthel is a reporter for the Post Millennial. We're happy to have her on tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. So what can you tell us about Jake Gardner, his final days, what he was going through when he took his own life?
Well, I spoke to his close friend who reached out to Jake the night before he killed himself. He said that all Jake wanted to do was travel the country with his service dog, Braun. But the mob wouldn't let him. Shaun King called him a white supremacist. A local blogger claimed that the swastika symbol was hidden in Jake's company logo. That's insane conspiracy. When Jake's friend launched the two GoFundMe accounts, and both were taken down, the donors' names were compiled in a public blacklist. Meanwhile, James Scurlock's GoFundMe has raised over $250,000. Jake's friend has since launched an alternative spot fund account, which sadly turned into a memorial fund. And his family held a tribute last night. The venues changed because of continued threats. The mob drove Jake to suicide, and even after death, they say no justice, no peace. Their family is currently seeking to bury the former soldier at Arlington National Cemetery, hopefully with the help of President Trump, which would be a final resting place, safe from the relentless mob.
GoFundMe has been particularly aggressive and political in shutting down the accounts of people whose politics that they don't like. They should be ashamed. They should be punished. But did they, in this specific case, give a reason for deleting GoFundMe accounts for Jake Gardner?
There was a flood of complaints, especially from the Twitter mob. This was not racially charged, the shooting. This was a matter of protecting private property and a business owner fearing for his life.
Is there any evidence whatsoever? You keep hearing people, including elected officials, a state senator in Nebraska, saying that Jake Gardner was a white supremacist, a racist, a bad person. Is there any evidence of that at all?
There's no evidence. This was a war veteran. He served 2 tours in Iraq. There's no evidence of this whatsoever. This is your neighborhood business owner.
Yeah. If they can do this to him, a man just trying to defend himself, then of course they can do it to all of us, and that's exactly the point. Boy, I really appreciate your coming on to give us the details of that story, Mia. It's upsetting as hell. I appreciate it. Kind of see what's going on here, I imagine. Crime goes up, disorder is ubiquitous, prosecutors pressing charges or not pressing charges based on the demands of the mob, and at the same moment, American society becomes more chaotic and more threatening. Anyone who tries to defend himself or his family or his property is shut down immediately with the help of the tech companies. What does that add up to? China.